new crew? If you're new, my name's Cassandra and welcome back to my channel. Today we're talking about something that I'm really excited to talk about. I made this video last year and thought, you know what, I think this is gonna be an annual thing. We're gonna talk about it again. We're gonna go through and talk about 10 homestead things that I learned this year just to grow my knowledge as a whole and become more self-sufficient for my family moving forward and just gaining some new skills. So we're just gonna sit down and talk about it. So we are going to be starting from the top. The first thing that I wanted to talk about was I learned how to make a really great dinner roll. This is something that I had struggled with in the past. I just found a really good recipe and practiced a lot this year, and finally I think I nailed my dinner roll recipe. I tweaked it a little bit, made it more my own, and they are fantastic. They taste sort of like a Hawaiian roll, but not so sweet, and they're a little bit more firm, but man, they're delicious, and my kids love them. My family loves them, which feels good. They are a go-to dinner roll, and they take just over an hour. So they are very quick to throw together from start to the time you pull them out of the oven. And they're a one rise recipe, which also makes it really, really nice and makes them quick. So they're easy to throw together when it's kind of one of those days where maybe I didn't plan quite as well what we're having for dinner, and maybe we want to have a bowl of soup and we're thinking, oh, you know what would be really good with that soup is some fresh bread. Well, maybe I don't have bread. I definitely don't have time to make loaves of bread because that takes hours. These roll recipe is really quick, really easy, and it is perfect for those things. They're also really great leftover. They make a really great egg sandwich the next morning, so that's been a really good way that we've been using them up as well. But they're our favorite, and I do plan on showing you guys that recipe or sharing that recipe with you guys in an upcoming video during Vlogmas, but they're really good. I also learned how to make hamburger buns this year. This is something that we learned together here in videos. I've been practicing with them off screen a little bit as well. These ones aren't as consistent for me, but the recipe itself is very good. It's more user error. Sometimes I try to rush through it a little bit, or I get distracted or whatever, and they always turn out good, but it's more the sizing when I'm rolling them. Sometimes they end up a little big, sometimes they end up a little small. But that's totally my thing, not the recipe, but man, they're good. And that's another thing, I will share that with you guys in an upcoming video, but they are one of our favorites. My husband hates it when we have to go buy burger buns from the store, because he says the ones that I make are really good. So that's like, oh, yay. So that makes me really excited, but that's another thing I learned this year. Another thing I learned this year was how to make caramel sauce. We did this recently in a video together. I think we made 6 or 7 of these half pints. This is already the second one that we've opened and gone through. I just made a delicious caramel cream cheese frosting that we put on top of cinnamon rolls. It's so good, you guys. We have some of the frosting left over, and we're going to save that frosting for when we make cutout cookies, and we're going to do caramel cream cheese cutout cookies. They're going to be fantastic, but this is really good. I've also been using this almost daily in my coffee, so I'm really excited. We're gonna skip to the next one, but I also learned how to make coffee creamer just very recently. I shared that on my Instagram. That recipe is also in a highlight on my Instagram if you're wanting to see it there. But I'm really excited to melt some of this caramel down in the coffee creamer that I make and make a caramel coffee creamer, which is my go-to coffee creamer anyways. And the one that I really like from Chobani, it's like almost $6, and I go through it in 1 week, or a little over a week. So I'm excited to be able to make my own for pennies on the dollar and lose all the extra yucky stuff that's in the coffee creamer. So I'm excited about that. Another thing I learned this year is jams and apple butter. I am really happy about this. I've talked about this openly, but I've water bath canned for a couple years now, and for whatever reason, jams have always been intimidating to me. It's something about the pectin and doing the math for the sugar and all of the things that have always felt really intimidating to me. I was always nervous to mess it up and not have a jam set. But this year I've made jam 4 or 5 times. So we've got a good variety of jam on the shelf this year, and they're all really good. They all set, which is awesome. I'm really excited about that. And then we also learned how to make apple butter, which is one of the easiest things to make, and man, is it delicious. So I kind of got over that fear of learning how to make jams and jellies, and I just did it. And lo and behold, it's not as hard as I made it to be in my head. and I'm really excited to hand them out as Christmas gifts to friends and family this year. The next thing I'm going to be talking about is actually not in the kitchen, but we really perfected our fishing skills this year as a family. My husband is an avid outdoorsman. He loves to hunt and fish, and we really loaded up a lot this year as a family and got out and went fishing, and the kids got to learn a lot as well, which is awesome. But my husband did some solo trips this year, and he went out on Lake Michigan on some salmon fishing trips with some friends, and we were able to fill our freezer with salmon for the year, which is awesome and has saved us probably hundreds, if not, you know, $1,000 worth of salmon this year. We've also learned how to smoke the salmon. We have a smoker. We've been smoking a lot of salmon, and one of our favorite ways is to take the smoked salmon and we make it into a dip or like a smoked salmon sandwich, and that's really good as well. The other thing that we fished for a lot this year was trout. We found out as a family we really like trout, like in all varieties of trout. So we have some brook trout and some lake trout and some brown trout and all of the things in the freezer right now, and we've learned how to smoke those as well. We've been roasting them in the oven, and just a lot of different varieties of all the fish things here. Of course, we're from Wisconsin. We always fry fish. Fish fry Fridays are a huge thing here, so we do that as well. A lot of panfish that the kids helped catch, and they make some mighty fine tacos too. So we really perfected those skills this year and have gotten much better at that, and for the first time ever have been able to fill our freezers plenty of fish for the year to come. I also learned how to make mayo recently. Mayo prices have gotten kind of crazy in my area for very small portions of mayo, and we have laying hens, so I just looked up how to make mayo, and man, that is easy. It is so simple to make mayo, and I've been making it myself now for the last couple of months. We've been making that to make our favorite chicken salad, which is one of our favorite lunches here. We've also been using it just as spreads for sandwiches and pasta salads and things like that. But our favorite thing to do with our mayo is to make Cajun mayo with a little bit of Cajun seasoning, or maybe a dash of our homemade hot sauce, and making it a little bit spicy. And that makes a delicious mayo as well. So that's our favorite way to do it. Another thing that I learned to do this year was to make pasties, which was on my I want to learn how to do list from last year. So I'm really excited that I was able to accomplish that goal, and I've made them a handful of times. They come out delicious. They're one of our favorite things. My husband is originally from the UP, so pasties are like in his blood, and if he tells me that the pasties are good and he's been eating pasties his entire life, I believe him. They're probably okay, and they're one of our favorite things. To learn how to make pasties, I had to get some tallow or some rendered fat, and I knew that I had a whole bag of tallow in my freezer from our whole pig that we bought. So I learned how to render tallow so that I could put it in my pasty dough to make really good pasties, and let me tell you, this is the key to a really delicious pasty dough. So I learned how to do that this year, how to clean it, purify it, get really good tallow, and we've been using this to make pasties and to season our cast iron skillets. So this has saved us a lot of money, but it's also cool to be able to learn a new skill and take something that just would have sat in my freezer and I wouldn't have known what to do with, and actually learning how to do it and how to utilize it in different areas of my house. So that was really cool. The very last thing that I learned to do this year was sewing, and this was something that my oldest daughter really wanted to learn how to do. I had learned how to sew back in my military wife days. Back in the day, I learned how to sew in a local Army Wives like support group, because we were so broke as lower enlisted. We could not afford the like $10 it was for the patches on his uniforms to get sewn on. With all the patches on a uniform, it's like $50, and we could not afford that back then. So I learned how to sew on his patches. Well, I haven't sewn since he's left the military in 2019. So my oldest daughter wanted to learn how to sew, so I had to reteach myself how to sew, and it had actually come in handy quite often. I was able to repair my apron. My daughter repaired my apron. We were able to put buttons back on things, to sew eyes on stuffed animals, and all sorts of things this year. So that was something that my daughter got to learn, and I got to relearn, and just kind of added to our like homesteading repertoire of things. And the coolest part for me was actually being able to do it with my daughter and being able to do that together. And it turns out that she's a much better sewer than I am, and now she is the go-to for all sewing needs, and she loves it. She has such a sense of pride in it when you bring her something and you're like, hey, can you fix this for me? She loves to be able to help and to sew whatever it is up, so that's really cool. Just like that, those are 10 things that I learned how to do this year, my family learned how to do this year, to kind of improve on our self-sufficient journey. If you want, I will link down below my video like this that I did last year if I can find it, and you can see kind of how things have changed over the last 2 years, all the skills that we've learned. I hope that you guys are having a fantastic day wherever you are. Leave me a comment down below of what you want to learn how to do heading into 2024, and I will catch you guys in the video.
A Christmas song. The Christmas tree's on fire. Santa's holding the lighter. My parents are both liars. I got gifts but 1 subscribers. Thanks for just happened. This is not a Christmas. This is not a Christmas song. This is not a Christmas. This is not a Christmas song. This is not a Christmas. This is not a Christmas song. This is not a Christmas. This is not a Christmas song. My neighbors compete to see who can put up more blinding lights. song. When I was just a boy, Christmas brought so much joy. Couldn't wait for the presents and laughter. I couldn't sleep late at night, looking for Santa with lights. Those are the memories I still remember. Then I became a man, lost sight of who I am, but right in front